lucrative. First, though, it is a big week for Argentina. It must either pay up or default on money owed to a group of hedge fund investors by Wednesday. This all harks back to 2001 when Argentina found itself in financial turmoil. The majority of bondholders agreed to a debt swap deal at the time, but a small group of investors are still fighting for payment in full. And if Argentina refuses, it will default on its debts once again. So let's have a look at how we got to this point. Argentina is rich in resources, has a well-educated workforce and is one of South America's largest economies. But it has also fallen prey to a boom and bust cycle. A deep recession and economic collapse in 2001 left more than half the population living in poverty and triggered unrest. The country struggled with record debt defaults and currency devaluation. By 2003, a recovery was underway and the International Monetary Fund agreed to a vital new loan. Since then, Argentina has restructured most of its massive debt, offering creditors new bonds for the defaulted ones, and has repaid the IMF. But some investors who loan money to the country have not been willing to accept the debt swap offer and are instead insisting that they're paid in full. Argentina has until the 30th of July to find a solution or possibly default again. It also fears that a settlement would prompt claims from other investors who felt shortchanged by the original debt restructuring. In the meantime, the economy is still struggling, poverty remains rife and unemployment high, with many Argentines still awaiting the benefits of the economic upturn. Well, I'm joined by Nicholas Watson, Senior Vice President from Tineo Intelligence. Good morning.
Morning.
Just tell us who these so-called vulture investors are, that's what they've been named, isn't it, who are hanging in there for full payment and what the likely outcome of this might be on Wednesday.
Okay, well, these are a group of mainly hedge funds who've bought up debt since the economic turmoil of 2001. They refused to participate in two previous debt exchanges that took place in 2005 and 2010, when investors took a 65% loss on their holdings. And they have pursued Argentina in the courts, really for the last 10 years almost. And this long-running saga has now come to an end as the US Supreme Court declined to hear Argentina's appeal. And now Argentina faces possible default as soon as this Wednesday. So
Wednesday, they could default if they don't strike a deal with this small number of holdout lenders, as it were. But why would they choose to default when actually it's a small number of people? The bill they'd have to pay to them is not that large.
Well, Argentina is reluctant to make the payment because of something called the Rights Upon Future Offer Clause, which was something that was written into the original debt exchanges. This basically entitles the restructured bondholders to better terms if Argentina voluntarily makes a better offer to the holdouts. Now, the definition of voluntarily is up for grabs really here, but Argentina says it could be open to a series of other demands and further litigation, which would be extremely costly, and it simply doesn't have the resources to pay everyone else who would cascade on from this holdouts payment.
So just briefly, Nicholas, if Argentina chooses to default on Wednesday, what then?
Well, the main impact would be domestic. This would deepen a recession that's already underway in Argentina. It would exacerbate some of the kind of existing economic imbalances in Argentina. Inflation would put pressure on the currency, on the reserves. The risk of economic contagion is actually fairly limited. Brazil, there'd probably be an impact because Brazil is such an important trading partner for Argentina. But really, this has already been priced in. Some form of default has been priced in by the markets already.
All right, Nicholas, thank you very much indeed for your analysis. Very clear. And of course, it's something we're keeping a very close eye on as this week progresses. Any deal done, we'll make sure we update you.